Hello again, Vortex. I wanted to show you this little ant, but he's scurried away. I'm sorry, it could be a female ant, and I'm misgendering this ant on purpose, which makes me a bad person. I probably should just go home and slip my wrist in the bathtub, because it's not fair. It's not fair to do that to anybody. I mean, I can't think of anything worse in the entire world than mistaking somebody's gender. There's just nothing worse than that. Especially when, you call them by the gender that they are. Happens to me all the time. That's why I make fun of these people, because they clearly don't know how to deal with anything. People call me sir because I guess I'm assertive. Like, when I work, I'm assertive. I'm not that way. Like, people don't, unless they see me, like, in my Kurt Cobain-esque attitude. It's like I'm very small. I do have feminine features, but I feel like I have more masculine features. And just my attitude, my chi, whatever you call it, my chi. I feel like it's more like a guy. And I've noticed that, like, a lot of guys are in awe of that with me. And I think it's because they feel like they can't express a lot of things that I expressed in regards to how much women suck at everything and how much they're ripping apart in society. But it's also, like, I just think that a lot of men have, like, voluntarily subjected themselves to this. You're not a man if you're on psychiatric drugs, just to let you know. Men don't get help. They don't. That's not something that men do. Men don't ask for help. And I guess that's why it's so hard for me. I don't care how mean that sounds. I mean, nobody should be on these pills anyway. But I just think it's weak. It's weak to not want to figure things out on your own. It's weak to rely on others. It's weak to rely on the government. I just read about that in Isaiah. Like, you have all these people relying on Egypt to save them. They're relying on this king or that king to save them. And that's just silly, Because they're relying on people that aren't preaching the word of the gospel. And if they do, they don't actually live it. They just say it. It's like, if the government were actually good, I would be all in favor of them creating a better society than this crap. But unfortunately, I don't think that we can trust that. I mean, I love Donald Trump, but there's so many people in his cabinet that hate him, and they're totally against his agenda. So that's precisely the problem. There are more problems too. Yeah, there are lots of problems. But we're still diehard Trump supporter. Still, very much so. That star just keeps getting brighter and brighter. Because, I mean, he's really doing it. I told myself that I'd keep shooting videos until the power went out. We're at 13 minutes right now. We got 13 minutes left. We've been shooting, like, I don't know how many videos, but this is how we do it, okay? This is how we do it. Think about Montell Jordan. So, this is how we do it. I used to love that song. There hasn't been a scandal involving that song or Montell Jordan, so that's good, right? You just never know what could possibly be scandalous. But anyway, we shoot a bunch of videos, we critique those videos, and then we put them up, and then we try to leave YouTube alone. It's not good for ego. It's not good for our pride to be obsessing about, oh, did they watch this? Did they watch that? What do they think of this? That's not good for us. So that's why I just try to avoid it. That's why I don't socially network, because it does that to your brain. And then you just start obsessing about what people are saying or what they're thinking, or it's just, I hate it. I'm too aware of it to do it. I'm too aware of it to think that I'm impervious to being taken away by that shit. Like, as self-aware as I am, and as aware as I am of all these things and how they're trying to control us, it doesn't make me immune to being controlled by it, you see? And I think a lot of the time people think that they can overcome that sort of thing. I don't think that that's possible. I think that the whole point of it is to rewire you. I think the whole point of it is to get you addicted to it so that you behave just like a drug addict. It's the same thing with Marxism. What Marxist have you met that is not a drug addict? I have yet to meet somebody that leans that far to the left and doesn't constantly play the victim, doesn't have a bunch of problems like relationship problems, drug problems, alcohol problems. It makes perfect sense. You have a shit philosophy because your life philosophy is shit. So you want to make excuses for why you fail. And so you go along with a failure philosophy. Karl Marx was a failure. He was a disappointment to himself. He couldn't accept that. And so he projected it and said, oh, it's the world. Interesting, though, that we use the word capitalism, which was invented by Karl with a K, so very gay. Interesting that we use that word. And it's definitely not what the founding fathers wanted, okay? I'm totally all for, entrepreneurship. This isn't it, okay? When you're, outsourcing all these American jobs and you have all these supplies coming from specifically China, but, countries that aren't freedom-loving countries like America, even though I don't even know what to believe anymore. I really don't. I don't know if freedom is such a good thing. People that can't handle it will always reprimand the idea of it. But at the same time, I feel like we need some sort of humanized version of this stuff. They want to legalize all these things that are terrible. They complain about drugs. But I'm like, everything's a drug, yo. Everything. But especially your phone. Why don't you make that shit illegal? Porn. Ban porn. I can't believe that this is even a question. I used to feel otherwise, but it's like I see the kind of susceptibility that people have. It's not positive. It's so weird that I'm saying that, because I'm like, I'm known to be negative. I'm known to be very pessimistic. I'm a sad Sally, but I'm a sad Sally. I'm a gloomy Gertrude. I'm a sorry Sarah. But it's like, if society would be better if we banned certain things, we need to ban those things. It's really not that hard. And I don't care how many people whine about it. I don't care. You should ban abortion too. I don't care. If women are going to die in alleyways. First of all, that's not going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to make a decision. The decision they should have made all along in the bedroom. Is this worth it? Probably not. Maybe I shouldn't do it.
Now, I don't like the government clamping down, though. I really don't. You guys know how much I hate that idea. But, like, that's how bad society's gotten. Like I said, man, too. If women thought, I'll go to prison. I'll go to prison if I abort this baby. Then they'll think more about having sex. They won't have sex. Did you hear that shit? You see, once again, I think that you guys have already been witness to this crap. This is what people do. I don't know if this is just something people do in the South. They get bored and they just honk their horns and act crazy and drive crazy, but I don't know. I don't know if they're just that bored, but anyway, what was I saying? You have 6 minutes. I do. I have less than that, actually. But, yeah, so it's like, with society, it's like you have to make the rules in ways that understand human nature. The way that they have made the rules now, it doesn't leave any room for human nature, okay? Like, liberals will never understand this. This is why their policies don't work, because you don't leave room for human nature. People will always disappoint you. Like, I expect to be disappointed. That's why I said keep your expectations at sea level, and you can't be mad about anything because you don't expect too much from people. If you don't expect too much from people, like, they'll never let you down. They'll always, pleasantly surprise you. Anytime that anybody likes me, anytime that anybody sends a positive message my way, I'm like, wow, we got one? It just comes as such a shock to me. Because I know I'm hard to take. You don't have to explain to me how annoying I am and how arrogant I sound and how ugly I look. You don't have to explain that to me. I already know all these things, but thanks for playing. They love to play. Yeah. I think I'm going to go home because it's almost time for this video to be over. I just want you to see what I'm seeing because it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh my God, a bird. Oh my God, a bird. Did you see that? You get so excited. I do. Nobody's excited about anything. Nobody's happy about anything. Nobody's sad about anything. Nobody feels guilty. They should feel guilty all the time. They should just walk around with this wannabe Catholic guilt that I have constantly. We don't have a Catholic church near us, or we would go. We have an Episcopal church up the street that we've gone to a couple times, but I tend to freak them out. The only religious people I don't freak out are black, okay? And I do want to preach, but I guess I want to do something more than that. I do want a comedy. I want to do comedy. I want to do musical comedy, dramedy, whatever the hell you want to call it. What is it? It's your mustache. It always looks like there's something on my face, it's just my mustache. But yeah, man. Nobody's trying anymore. Like I said, there's nothing to cancel here. I guess you could cancel my channels. That'd be kind of cool. Then that's the story too. Be like, yeah, dude, I did all these videos. I did 500 something videos on YouTube, and they shut them all down, all because I said the wrong thing. And that's what they do. That's what they do. You say one wrong thing, or you say one thing that people don't agree with, and then you're done. They write you off. You're dead to them. You really want to be part of that philosophy? I just don't understand the way that people think about stuff. They're not thinking about stuff. They're unthinking about stuff. They're unfeeling about stuff. Y'all hear that?
How can you think that God's not real? How stupid are these people?